Awesome. All right, so we are live in the GTA, Toronto. And here's our friend Ken Kwan, who's been a great host.
Ken, have a seat.
Ken.
You got the hot seat in the house.
I got the hot seat. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you see CN Tower in the background?
Yes, we can.
All right.
Yeah, so I want to introduce you guys to my friend Ken Kwan, who's made in Toronto, as Toronto as it gets. He's born here, okay, much more than we were.
Where were
in Vietnam, actually.
Oh, just
Yeah.
like Amy and.
Yeah, but we
were you born
got
in
to.
Vietnam?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
speak like a honker.
Honker?
Yeah.
Because she came later than I. I came in '79.
Okay.
She came when?
87.
87.
Well,
Yeah. So we're in Ken's tower. He's got this beautiful tower
you
overlooking
want
the
to
lake.
show the view? Show the
Sure.
view.
Yeah. So there we go. This is what we get. CN Tower all lit up. Beautiful. And the water's over there, but you can't see it. It's dark.
Very, very nice.
Show the view. It is show.
There you go.
So there's the CN Tower. Make sure it doesn't go over there.
Yeah.
Okay, and then over there is Ontario Place and the Toronto Island where the airports take off.
Yeah.
And then over there is Center Island. You can't see it because it's all dark.
Yep.
So, and then CN Tower and all the office buildings and everything. During COVID, CN Tower. All right. Okay.
Yeah, so a bit of a weekly wrap up for you guys. Basically, we spent it's our second week on a road trip,
Yes.
and we got to Ontario. So pretty amazing. The last 3 days was just straight driving. There was really nothing much from
What's
Winnipeg. We went to Winnipeg to Thunder Bay.
Okay.
Thunder Bay.
Because there wasn't, well, one thing was because we wanted to rush it here. Originally, I was breaking down that drive into 2 days because it's about an 8-hour drive. Drive alone, once you add in the break time and all that stuff, then you're talking about 10, 11-hour days, right? So I was going to break up into 2 days, have a stop. But then we looked at it, there wasn't many interesting stops in between. Plus, we wanted to leave some extra time to extend our stay in Toronto, since we got friends and family, and in Montreal, and in Quebec City, and those places we haven't been to. So that's why we decided to, okay, let's just kind of rush it through. So Thunder Bay, or Winnipeg to Thunder Bay, then Thunder Bay to Sault Ste. Marie, then Sault Ste. Marie, we were going to go straight to Toronto, but we decided, okay, let's just take a break at Sudbury, take a bit of a break there. And then we're finally here. So that was kind of our last week as a quick wrap up. The prairies was amazing. I loved Winnipeg as much more than I thought I would. Met some great people. Interviewed this great guy, Chad, and his wife, Kim, who operates Be Together bicycles in Winnipeg. If you're ever there, definitely check it out. Awesome business. His whole idea with the business is to promote being together. So that's why the name Be Together. So what he does is he rents tandem bicycles. And he's got 3 locations in Winnipeg that you can rent from. Great guy, really good business, so totally support him. Definitely check it out. He took us on a nice tour from inside the city all the way out to the forest, actually. Did you know that there's a forest in Winnipeg?
No.
Yeah.
I thought it was all prairies. No.
No,
Wow.
there's a designated forest.
Wow.
So there's
Okay.
Assiniboine Park, and
Okay.
then right beside it is Assiniboine Forest. And the story with that is a developer tried to turn it around, but then he met with a lot of protests, and eventually it was designated as forest. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, that's our week. If you guys have been following us on Instagram, you would have got all those daily updates. But yeah, we're having a lot of fun. Hi, Yvonne. Hi, Tia and Andy.
Who are you saying hi to?
Tia and Andy. Tia and Andy.
Oh, hi, Tia
are-
and Andy. Whoever you are.
Yeah, and also
And
Matt's
Matt.
on.
And Matt. Hey,
Matt is our special guest.
Why?
He used to be in Toronto. Then
Oh,
he
really?
moved to
Where?
Vancouver.
Where?
We're gonna have him on very shortly.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and Tia and Andy,
Toronto.
shout out to them. They've got a great YouTube channel. Definitely check out. Just search Tia and Andy. They cover a lot of cool stuff. They're also travel vloggers like us.
Okay.
So shout out to you guys. Thank you. But yeah, just my friend here, Ken, brought us to some really cool places today. He's a foodie himself. He prepared an awesome meal today.
Yes.
Red
Thank you.
wine braised short ribs.
Beef short ribs. Yeah.
Beef short ribs.
With-
It was so good.
Cauliflower
With,
puree.
Yes.
And then what did you
and
have?
I had prawns with
Pesto.
pesto,
shrimp
shrimp.
with
zucchini.
zucchini
Yeah,
noodles.
zucchini pasta.
noodles,
Very
zucchini
cool.
pasta, yes.
Very cool.
So very,
healthy.
very healthy dinner for me. Because I don't
exactly.
eat beef.
So Ken brought us around to Kensington Market area today. He was a bit ambitious. There was a lot more places that we wanted to cover.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
will we have tomorrow to cover them?
Yes, we have tomorrow.
Yeah, so
You
we
know-
did Kensington Market.
Yes.
We did, what
Very
did we
neat
do?
place.
We
Very
did-
Distillery District. I really like your
What did
distillery
we do there?
district.
We have
Sake tasting.
sake tasting.
Awesome. I'm a sake
Amazing,
fan
amazing.
myself.
I love
and I
sake.
loved it. But the whole vibe of Distillery District is so cool. We didn't have much time, so definitely on my comeback list. So I
Yes.
will be back for that.
No, we might have time tomorrow, but I actually have an idea for tomorrow.
Okay.
So, you guys were saying tandem bikes? You know what we can do? We can actually go to the Toronto Islands tomorrow and do tandem. We can rent some tandem bikes and ride
True.
around. That's one thing.
Yes. Yes.
But we have a lot on the list. We still have to cover Little Italy because
Yep.
it's still it's going to be all about food. Little Italy, Little Portugal, Greek town, Korean town, like Chinatown.
Wow,
we haven't
sounds-
done so many things.
Oh, that's way too much.
Yeah.
Way too much.
I know.
Yeah.
We'll have to
Leave
think
some
choices.
other stuff for us to come back to.
That's true.
Toronto. Yeah, I can't do it all in one. We can't do it all in one day.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so I've got a special guest today, Matt Dell. Matt Dell has a channel on YouTube also. He's also quite active in Instagram and Facebook.
Really?
Yeah, but I'd like to bring him on now and just share a bit of his story. He's got a cool story, and he makes a perfect guest for this stop because he originally was from Toronto, I believe. Ontario, I know. Toronto, I believe. And now he's in Vancouver.
Really? I
So-
would love to hear where he's from. We're
Yeah.
in Toronto.
All right,
I know the
Matt,
hood.
let's bring Matt on.
All right.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
How are you, buddy?
Good, good. How are you doing?
Good.
Nice to meet you, Matt.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Yeah, we lived right downtown, right at College Spadina. We spent I
my
spent
God,
10
we were
years
there?
in that area. Yeah.
Well, they're very close to it.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, so hey, thanks for coming on with us.
Yeah, no problem. It's great.
Yeah,
I was just
this is
listening
your hood.
earlier.
So you got to tell us a bit about Toronto and what was your story? Were you born here?
I was born in Montreal, and then with the whole all the businesses being relocated to Toronto in the 90s, in the mid 90s, our family just packed up and moved to Toronto, and then we kind of grew up in that North York area.
Yep.
And then I moved downtown and just spent a good 10 years down there.
Wow.
But yeah, so between Montreal, Toronto, and then Vancouver, I feel like I'm really getting a good sense of like what Canada is like,
Yeah.
like little bits and pieces right across across the border.
Exactly.
So if you had so I've told them my secret spot.
Oh yeah,
So if you had a secret spot in Toronto that I like.
yeah. There's definitely a secret spot that we like to do. I guess it's not really secret anymore, but we used to go to when we used to go to the island. There's a way to get to where the nude beach is.
There's a new beach. There's a new bit. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's still good. No.
It might not. Yeah, yeah.
You
But we
can
would
actually
hang-
uncover everything else, but just cover your face.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we would hang a right and go all the way to the airport, and then it would just be completely, be by yourself, and you get a really nice view of the city, and it's a great spot to watch the fireworks.
I could take them if they want tomorrow with the tandem bikes if you like.
Yeah, I heard you say that, and it's a great idea. The tandem bikes was my wife and I our first date was using those tandem bikes. So it's yeah, it's a good time.
Actually, I prefer the quad bicycles. Where
Oh yeah, right.
it's like I call them the Fred Flintstone.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, it's cool that you actually were born in Montreal, then Toronto, and then Vancouver. So we're going to Montreal next. That's our next stop. We're gonna head up to Prince Edward County, check
Okay.
out Thousand Island, the winery, and then go to Montreal.
That's a lot of fun. Yeah, that would be great. I mean,
What-
it's
what
such a
can you-
different. I mean, the thing is, I left Montreal when I was I was 12, so I didn't really. My only memories of Montreal are, just whatever you can experience at that age.
Eagles. Montreal.
Yeah, but Montreal. I mean, a lot of people suggest old Montreal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Catharines.
Montreal,
Yeah,
St.
the cobblestones and the
Catharines.
smoked meat and the bagels and what else I mean, this is a really good time to be in Montreal. It's nice and it's warm.
Yeah.
And
The
Not
Montreal is good. Montreal is really
It's a
nice.
park.
It's a park. It is a little bit of a hill. It's good.
That's
you'll
awesome.
see the landscape itself is totally different. I mean, especially coming from Vancouver. I mean, it's it's very different.
Very European.
Yeah.
Mm,
That's
yeah,
actually
huge.
what I'm looking forward to because I haven't been to Quebec City. I've been to Montreal once. I haven't been to Quebec City. Heard lots of great things about
You
it.
have to go to Quebec City.
Yeah, and I'm in architecture, so I love
Oh, cool.
building
Okay.
the history of that stuff.
Get your camera ready. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's
Yeah.
really nice there.
That's why we wanted to save more time to spend up on the St. Lawrence, right?
Yeah, that's cool. That's a great
Yeah,
idea. I
it's got
mean,
a beautiful path there. You can rent some tandem bikes and go along the St. Laurent path. It's a
Oh, great.
beautiful path.
did you end up seeing the giant? It was the giant dollar or what is it?
Yes,
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
you
did.
did good. Yeah.
Yeah.
John Looney.
The big
on way
Looney,
from
yeah, right.
Sudbury over
Yeah.
to here,
I haven't
there's a
seen
small
that yet.
town. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. It's a great. Yeah, it's Sudbury's
We
fun,
wanted
yeah.
to see the nickel, but it was closed because of
Nickel?
COVID.
Um,
It's a huge. You know, Canada has the most giant things. As humble as we
Giant.
are,
Giant
we
chair.
have
You saw
so
the
many
giant chair.
giant. I haven't seen that. I know
Yes,
there's
it
a
is.
Is that
giant.
Giant
Niagara
Muskoka
Falls?
chair?
Is that
No,
Niagara?
no, it's up in
It's
Muskoka.
bigger than that.
It's like Huntsville or something.
Ah.
There's a giant. We saw the giant Ukrainian egg.
Yeah.
In Alberta, I think, close to there. But there's giant everything. There's a giant hockey stick. I want to find
A
that.
giant hockey stick. That's very Canadian.
Yeah,
That is very Canadian.
Our
Yeah.
next year will be like hunting for giant stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's great that you guys did the Canadian way, the Canadian trip. 'Cause, I mean, when we did it, we went through the States. So all of our experiences are like, North Dakota, like all the states along the way, northern Michigan, which is kind of like, Sault Ste. Marie, and
right.
that it's our experiences are slightly different, but I could I know what you mean about the prairies. Like it's stunning when you see that kind of like, for us it would be like we saw like Montana, that flat land, and then kind of like, and then you see the mountains in the background because if you're going westbound, I guess
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
amazing.
No, everyone tells me that the prairie is just a boring straight drive, and
Yeah.
it's straight. But to me, it wasn't boring because the skies was amazing, and it's always changing.
Mhm.
So it just kept me entertained, although it was a straight drive. So we are thoroughly pleased and pleasantly surprised.
Were you the only driver?
No, Andrew, who's with us, he actually did more driving than me. He loves driving.
He
Oh,
loves
nice.
it.
He loves
That's
driving.
great.
Oh.
He goes to
I'll invite him on
Burning
my
Man.
next road trip.
Yeah, I know he's gone
I
to Burning
fall
Man for
asleep
the last.
after half an hour driving.
Yeah, he's done lots of Burning Man drives, and those are like 10, 12 hours, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's the secret. If you want to have a good road trip, you get somebody that loves to drive.
Exactly. Yeah. So you did the drive out. Was it for your move or just for fun, or what was it?
Yeah, we did it. The first time we did it was for the move. We had a little camper, and then we just
Oh, nice.
made our way slowly across. I think it took
Easy,
us. It took us forever. I think it was like 40 days we were on the road or something like that.
One way.
One way, yeah. And we just stopped along the way. Took 3 days here, 3 days there.
That's the way to do it.
It was great. I honestly loved it. I got to see so much that I didn't think that I was going to see. And then on the way back, so we ended up having to return the camper because we borrowed it from a family member. And when we brought it back, we bought just a used vehicle that we knew we were going to sell as soon as we got to Toronto, and just put the camper on and just went across and then sold it when we got there.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So did you tell them about your story in the trailer? And
Oh, not yet.
We're gonna
We'll
save
leave
that.
save that for later.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now I'm intrigued.
That's fine. It's just fun. So yeah, now that you've gone to kind of Montreal, Toronto, and Vancouver, can you
Mhm.
share with us the kind of unique differences from your perspective of the three regions?
Yeah, I mean, I could try. I mean, I don't think my opinion is. I mean, it's my own. I guess my own opinion. I think Montreal has that, like you said, European feel. It has it has a very much like the English and the French living together in this kind of like unison life. And then Toronto is like the complete opposite, where it's like every single nationality is living together. You know,
Yeah, that's
it's just
one.
everybody you can think of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our high school was just multicultural, like every type of nationality you can think of was in there. And then with Vancouver, I find it's more, and it gears towards, like there's a handful of nationalities you come across more often than the other. So it is interesting it is very spread out, and it'd be interesting to see what the middle of Canada is like, and the coast, the East Coast.
Well, our experience so far of the prairies is they are super friendly. Like,
Nice, that's good.
I love Winnipeg. It was a good surprise for me. And even Saskatoon and Edmonton, which are the smaller cities of those provinces, are still very pleasant. People are very friendly. I
That's
love
great.
that.
That's always nice to hear. As a Canadian, you kind of like, when you hear somebody else say, "Yeah, I've seen it. I've talked to people." And everyone's just friendly, and like it reassures that kind of feeling that you always hear from others.
Yeah, for sure. That's the thing that we're known for, right? Being friendly and accepting. So that's cool.
For sure, yeah. What any fun stories that happened to you guys along the way?
Yeah, actually, we have one in Winnipeg, and we the fellow Chad and his wife Kim, who we just bumped into. Like first day in Winnipeg, I was there at the Forks Market. Cool market, really cool. It's an old heritage building that they converted into eateries and shops. It reminds me of our in Vancouver, our Granville Island mixed with Lonsdale Key. It's got that.
Oh, cool. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's very cool. If you're ever in Winnipeg, do check it out. But we were just there. First thing in the morning, first thing we went, I bumped into, I saw this fellow just unloading some bikes, and the bowler trailer caught my attention. He's got this neat, cool little bowler trailer, and I was chatting him up and just about bowler, and I found out something cool about bowler. I thought they were created in Calgary, but he says no, it's not. Originally, it was from Winnipeg. So we started chatting. Yeah, and then I said, well, okay, I'm doing this vlog, and I'm asking people everywhere I go, regional differences, their perspective of being Canadian. And he was totally up for an interview. So he's going to be on my channel, one of the videos when I get back and edit it. But yeah, then he told me about his bike, and I loved his story. He originally was a pastor from Regina. He came over, and his motivation for his business is to create a business where people can be together. So his bicycle rental is strictly tandem and quads, so that people.
Oh, right. I was listening to what you were explaining in the beginning of the video. Yeah,
but it's just serendipitous almost, because this guy's I just met him. He's super friendly. He told me about his bike business, and I said, hey, that sounds great. Let's do it as a trip. So
that was one of the biggest things I loved, is that when we traveled across, we also had somewhat like a boulder, a camper van that was a small one. And every time we filled up for gas, there was always somebody that we were talking to, and they're always so ready to like share a story of theirs, or you run into somebody that's been living in their camper for the last 6 months, and you're like, how are you doing this? Like, it's just unbelievable. Like, these people are It's just amazing. It's so much fun when you meet these people along the way.
For sure, yeah. And the funniest part about that relationship is we took a private tour with him. He was very gracious. Him, his wife, brought his kids out and just made it as a family trip and showed us town. We rented his quads. But then we kind of mentioned, because through Alberta, Amy says, hey, why don't we just, like, we were originally thinking 2 ways. Then Amy was thinking, why don't we just sell our trailer at the end of the trip and fly back? Then we have more time to check out other cities.
Yeah.
So she planted the seed in my mind. I'm like, okay, well, maybe. So we posted it anyways. And we told him, oh, yeah, we're thinking of selling this once we're done. And then he says, no way. My wife and I were thinking of doing a trip just like that. Can I check out your trailer?
Oh, my God.
So
no way.
Sure, I'll bring the trailer over. His wife saw it in the morning. He was working, unloading his bikes. And his wife loved it. Kim loved it and must have texted Chad and said, hey, look, you got to check this out. It's like perfect for us.
I mean,
So,
how do you even, you can't even plan these things. Like,
yeah, you can't plan it. So he knew where we was going because we took his advice to go to the Cinnamon Bun place.
oh, okay.
He tracked us down the road. He was honking at us and he said, I want to see your trailer. So we pulled in, and this was on our way to Thunder Bay.
Wait. He didn't say, I want to see a trailer. He said, I want to buy it.
Oh, yeah. He said, I want it.
Oh, this is the story.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanna
He's
hear
just waving money out the window.
Oh, yeah. Wow. So it's pretty cool. So we stopped
That's
by.
amazing.
We measured all the dimensions for him because he just has this one small driveway that I can fit it in. So we measured it for him, and he was like, we made all the arrangement, and he said, okay, as long as it fits, I'm going to go back and measure. Then it's sold. When you come back this way, drop it off for me. And he was even willing to pick up in Toronto from us.
Oh,
So
wow.
we did that. But, unfortunately, his garage was too low by like 6 inches. Otherwise, it
Oh,
would
Oh, you're talking about
wow.
That's
Yeah.
That's
But he's
wild.
still a great fellow. It was a cool encounter. That was
Yeah,
cool.
that's a great story.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why
So what's
you would have any trouble selling an RV or
Yeah.
trailer because
That's what
how
everyone's
else,
doing.
how else can you travel? You can't.
Exactly.
You can't
That's true. You're right. Yeah.
fly, but it's.
Well,
dangerous.
apparently RV sales are like through the roof, and you can't get any. That's what our
Oh.
friend was telling us. So
I could
it's
see
it's
that,
a thing to
yeah.
do this year. Yeah, totally.
That makes sense. And what is the plan with the? So he said when you're coming back, so you'll make your way back to Manitoba.
Well, yeah, he's no longer buying it because it's just
Oh.
too tall for him. But we are
Oh, I
the
see.
to go to Montreal, Quebec City, and then back down. We don't know if we should hit Trois-Rivières. We haven't been there. I don't know if you guys have any audience or any audience know about it. Leave us a comment. Is it worth visiting?
What's it called?
Trois-Rivières on St. Lawrence. It's a small town in Quebec.
Yeah, Three Rivers.
Yeah, so that, and then Ottawa, and then back down to Toronto. So yeah, that's
I don't
kind of
know. That would be interesting to know if it's worth visiting. I mean, obviously Ottawa is worth visiting. It's the capital, and
Yeah.
Quebec City is always very interesting because it's just a different environment.
right. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll do some more research on it. But
Mhm.
that's the plan so far. We'll see if the Maritime opens up. We'll go there, but I don't think so. Chances are slim. They're still in their bubble.
Yeah. Have you run into anyone like not appreciating like the traveling, like the cross province, like going through the provinces at all?
No,
Actually, no.
no. Surprisingly,
No?
it's
Oh,
good.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why somebody
the
was telling me that. I don't know.
Well, I think that's New Brunswick. There was a story about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
About that, or in Quebec, actually. Quebec, yeah, there was a story in Quebec. Some outer province people in Quebecer didn't like it.
Oh, I see.
All the way up until Ontario, it's been pretty relaxed, I would say, especially in the trailer parks. It's been not too bad. Once we hit Ontario, we noticed a lot of trailer parks are either closed or they're requiring you be in a self-contained unit. So you can't use their washrooms and showers. You got to use your own.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's what we've noticed. And then, of course, right now, Toronto is any business, it's mandatory mask. Like
Okay.
BC is better, right? Vancouver's better.
Yeah,
So-
it's very relaxed out here.
Yeah, so that's kind of the only thing that we've noticed. But for the most part, people have been friendly.
Mhm.
Yeah, and curious.
It's
Yeah.
great that this is a crazy time, and you're doing a right across the country trip. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. It's such a
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting
it actually, we planned this last year, but it turned
Oh,
out,
wow.
thanks to COVID, it's the only thing we could have done anyways.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Can't fly out of the country.
No.
yeah, 100%.
Uh,
Yeah.
It's a,
No,
it's a
It's
good time
perfect
to see it.
I would
Yeah,
say.
and the weather. So I think somebody asked about the weather here in Toronto. Last 2 weeks, stinking hot, way too hot. Sometimes we got humidex up to 40. This week, I don't know if you guys brought the cooler weather.
Beautiful.
It's perfect,
Perfect.
28 degrees.
As you can see, I'm wearing like a light jacket
Yeah,
right
like-
now.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nice and cool.
Nice and cool right now. Probably
Nice.
23 degrees right now. Something like
Yeah,
that's really nice.
With a really nice breeze.
Yeah, a nice breeze. Warm
lucked
enough
up.
that there's a bit of a humidity, keeps you warm at night. It's perfect. You can sleep here on the balcony. On the
That's
lake.
good. That's really good. I mean, that's why a good thing I'm on my headphone. If my wife heard that, she misses Toronto and she'll move back in a heartbeat. So
Really?
that she doesn't hear that the weather is good over there.
Only for probably June, July, and August, and September. That's it.
So,
Yeah.
why was it that you moved out to Vancouver? I never asked that question.
Yeah, originally we were planning on moving to LA, and I was having this discussion with somebody today, which is really funny because I mean, not to bring politics into this, but we were gonna go to LA. That was the plan. So I tried to apply to so many jobs and from Toronto, and I was just not, landing these I was landing the interview, and I was, right to the end. But they were like, you're living in Toronto, you're a little too far. If you can only maybe take a flight out here, maybe. So we were like, you know what? Let's move to Vancouver. It's a shorter flight to LA. Maybe we have a better chance of finding an interview. And then when we got to Vancouver, then Trump got elected, and it's
And then
just and then with this virus, and then it's just one after the other. Then he went after the people with the visas at first. Like we would have been right in his crosshairs, So in a way, it worked out in its own little way.
That's cool. That's cool. Okay. Well, hey, since you've been in so many regions of Canada, I'd love to hear your perspective. We've been asking people as we go to new cities what it means to be Canadian. So I'd love to hear your perspective because you've got such a wide range.
Okay. What it means to be Canadian, I would say it's like being welcoming towards others, no matter where you're coming from, really. And I think it's like that commitment to fairness, like just a fair shot at people that want what their dreams are. Everyone has their fair shot at that, or the fact that we just we like being fair towards just how people are being treated, no matter what walks of life you're coming from. And I think that speaks a lot towards what we're seeing, just the craziness you'll see in different parts of the States, and how, it's just different cultures are learning to work with each other. I feel like there's a lot of Canada that has already figured it out, and it works. So hopefully they can learn a few things off of us.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, hey, thank you so much. And so, Matt, before we sign off, I'd love you to tell our audience a bit about your channel.
Yeah, sure. We're a vlog channel. We do unscripted, fun, fast-paced vlogs. It's my wife and I, and we post every Saturday morning. And yeah, we'd love to see anyone that's watching. We would love to see you on there.
Nice.
That's great, man.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you. Let's touch base when we're back in Vancouver.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on.
Come to Toronto.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.